at 11.
Good evening, I'm Steve Hensley. In cities big and small, thousands hit the streets to mark the 155th Juneteenth, celebrating the end of slavery in the United States. As CBS's Skylar Henry reports from Washington, there is growing momentum in efforts to make Juneteenth a national holiday.
In Oakland, California, they demanded justice. In New York City, George Floyd was a rallying cry.
Everywhere you look and everywhere you see, racism is being torn down in high and low places.
And in Washington, D.C., a silent crowd kneeled around the Martin Luther King Jr. Memorial. Music, marches, and a call for solidarity against racism shaped this year's Juneteenth, which marks the end of slavery in the U.S.
I've always attended the Juneteenth parades, but they've never been as large as this one, so I'm just excited to be a part of this.
Now, state governments and dozens of companies are embracing Juneteenth as an official holiday, and lawmakers on Capitol Hill are introducing legislation to make it a national one.
It was June 19th, 1865, when slaves in Galveston, Texas, found out from Union troops that the Civil War was over and they were freed.
The National Archives in Washington announced that researchers discovered the actual handwritten Union general's order writing, "To the people of Texas, all slaves are free." 93-year-old activist and lifelong Texan Opal Lee has campaigned for a national holiday for years.
I say that there's still a form of slavery going on. If people don't have enough to eat, it's a form of slavery.
This weekend, thousands are expected in Tulsa, Oklahoma's historic Greenwood district for Juneteenth. And Saturday night, the city will host President Trump's first campaign rally since the coronavirus pandemic. It had been set to coincide with Juneteenth, but was rescheduled after widespread outcries. Skylar Henry, CBS News, Washington.
This week, New York and Virginia made Juneteenth a paid holiday for state workers. In honor of the day, Whitesburg held an art parade this afternoon on Main Street. Today, the storefronts on Main Street in Whitesburg were full of Black Lives Matter artwork to celebrate the historic day. WYMT's Emily Bennett was there.
Just 1 week after Whitesburg held a protest for Black Lives Matter,
we have that fire, we have that momentum, we have to get things changed.
They held an art parade on Main Street in honor of Juneteenth, celebrating when news reached Texas that slaves were free.
We didn't want to just have the protests and quit, and so we figured this art parade would be the best way to do that and celebrate.
Organizer Deja Hogg says it's more important now than ever to celebrate Black freedom.
I definitely think that people are celebrating it more, and also just because it's a National Day of Freedom and people probably feel like they have a bit more freedom now.
As Whitesburg is an artistic town, art was chosen to be at the forefront of the celebration.
I feel like the art is a good way for our town to kind of relate and come together, and so this is also a way for people that kind of don't want to, maybe get out in the public as well, don't want their name out there. They just hand us the artwork and at least they know they contributed.
As cars traveled up and down Main Street, they honked in solidarity.
It's just the honk for justice, for commemorating all these memories of all the lives lost, and just for the movement in general. Like I said, defend Black lives. That honk is basically just all of us honking together saying we're not going to stop.
In Whitesburg, Emily Bennett, WYMT Mountain News.
Organizer Natasha Rachel says in the future they hope to host forums about the Black Lives Matter movement. In Pulaski County, dozens of armed people gathered at Mill Springs Battlefield Museum and Park. A viewer sent us these pictures. The Commonwealth Journal reports the community had concerns of outside protesters coming to vandalize monuments. Kentucky State Police told the newspaper and the people there that those rumors were false and there is no credible threat.
Well, things are really starting to calm down now here tonight in the mountains. If you look behind me at our downtown Whitesburg camera, you can see those calm and quiet conditions there. They look to be staying dry for the moment as well, but we did see quite a few scattered showers earlier this evening. You can see that looking at our satellite and radar, just popping in and out, but overall it was still a very nice afternoon, and now we are seeing much drier conditions here in the mountains, and we'll continue to see that overnight tonight. But temperatures really starting to cool down. So if you remember, we popped into the 80s today for a lot of us, so we were quite warm this afternoon, but now pretty much all of us have sunk into those 60s, pretty much anywhere from those mid to upper 60s at the moment, so a little bit cooler outside, and we'll continue to see those cooler conditions as we head into those overnight hours tonight. We'll see those rain chances kind of stay lower overnight. Now, can't rule out just a stray pop-up or two, but overall I think we will stay on that drier side, and temperatures waking up tomorrow morning are going to be nice, cool, and in those lower 60s. So being very comfortable waking up tomorrow morning to start off our weekend on our Saturday, and we'll see beautiful conditions throughout the morning hours, but it looks like as we start to head towards those afternoon hours, we are going to start to see more of those rain chances coming back into the forecast. Steve?
Brooke, thank you. The United States coronavirus death toll topped 119,000 today. Kentucky has 258 new cases of COVID-19. The state's total is now at 13,454 cases. At least 522 Kentuckians have died from the virus. That's up 2 since yesterday. But more than 3,500 have fully recovered. The Pike County Health Department is seeing an increase in COVID-19 cases, and with the increase in numbers comes an increase in linked cases. Public Health Director Tammy Riley says 6 cases in the county link back to the Lighthouse Apostolic Church of Feds Creek. Riley says anyone who attended services at the church since June 1st should be tested and self-quarantined. Riley also announced a case at the Phelps Public Library. That case, she says, also has ties to the church. She says many churches are doing their part to combat the spread as they reopen, but she encourages everyone to stay focused.
Most churches are doing every other pew. They are advising their congregates that are immunocompromised or age 60 and above, to continue to watch live streaming or viewing from their car. They have a variety of setups.
Riley says the health department is also working with the library to address any concerns and contain the virus. Health departments in several other eastern Kentucky counties reported new cases today. There are 2 new cases in Perry County, including a young child. In hard-hit Jackson County, there are 4 new cases, which brings their total now to 86. The 25th case was reported in Floyd County, and there are 5 new cases in Laurel County, making 60 cases there. We will continue to update the county-by-county breakdown of COVID-19 cases on WYMT.com. For the 4th day in a row, hundreds of people waited in Frankfort hoping to get their unemployment claims resolved. Back in 2017, the unemployment office closed in Harlan County, leaving at least 400 coal miners without help. Now more than 2,000 people in Harlan County are needing help with unemployment during the pandemic. Harlan County Judge Executive Dan Mosley sent a letter to Governor Beshear last month asking him to help people file claims. Mosley said he presented a solution to the governor but has not heard back in almost a month.
The state had committed to hiring 1,200 people to assist with this process. I don't know where they're at on that, but I mailed a letter and emailed a letter to the governor's staff a month ago. I think it was actually a month ago today, offering a solution locally because we helped so many during the Black Jewel crisis. We could use this very courtroom, set up appointments for UI staff.
Mosley said they are prepared with personal protective equipment such as gloves, face masks, and shields, even offering hand sanitizer to the unemployment insurance staff. Crews have begun the process of saving a historic bridge in Fleming County. The Grange City Covered Bridge is one of only 12 covered bridges left in Kentucky. It was badly damaged during flooding back in May. Pictures of workers clearing trees and pouring concrete were posted to Facebook today. Those steps will support the covered bridge until full plans for restoration are completed. A woman is safe after being rescued on a hiking trail. Members of the Wolfe County Search and Rescue Team say they got the call around 6 last night. They ended up finding an injured woman about 2 miles from the Rock Bridge trailhead. Powell County Search and Rescue also helped. Officials say the woman was able to get back to her car at about 12:30 this morning, and her husband was able to take her and get treated. Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell spoke in Boyd County today at the King's Daughters Medical Center. The topic was the CARES Act that brought $11 billion in relief to Kentucky when COVID-19 hit. Healthcare providers got more than $1 billion of that funding. McConnell says Americans went from the best economy in 50 years to the worst since World War II, trying to pull through the pandemic.
The downside to what we've done in the last 2 months is that we now have a debt the size of our economy that hasn't happened since World War II, and it's a matter of some concern. But we all agreed that under these circumstances, these extraordinary and unusual circumstances, it was the right thing to do.
He spoke at King's Daughters Hospital in Ashland, which has received $14 million of federal support during the COVID-19 outbreak. There is a new sentencing date for the man who attacked Kentucky Senator Rand Paul in 2017. Paul's former neighbor, Rene Boucher, served a 30-day sentence and paid a $10,000 fine for the crime. Federal prosecutors say that was not enough. Boucher's attorney says Paul is getting special treatment because he's a senator. Boucher will be back in court July 27th. UK President Dr. Eli Capilouto announced more changes on campus to help communities of color. The 8-step plan includes plans for diversity training, a review of campus facilities for inclusivity and recruitment of black faculty. Shelby Lofton highlights some of the changes UK students will see in addition to COVID-19 guidelines when they return to campus.
The names of George Floyd, Ahmaud Arbery, and one of our former students, Breonna Taylor, have been painfully etched in our hearts and minds. But we must do more than remember.
And University of Kentucky administrators have laid out a diversity plan with looming deadlines to do just that. Students are required to complete cultural proficiency training before classes start in August. Faculty will also receive training on how to handle conversations about race in the classroom. Right now, just over 13% of UK's faculty is of color. 6% is black, according to Dr. Sanja Feast-Price, one of the school's administrators. She says it's not just the minority students who need more educators of color.
It also benefits our majority students in that they need to see themselves in people that don't look like them. They have to see them as experts in this content.
The school will create a committee of people who will review the code of conduct and creed, giving a more narrow definition of what it means to be a wildcat. And UK will bring in an expert to review facilities to find more inclusive spaces for students of color, considering what is being honored in the artwork that's displayed. One trustee called this action plan ambitious, with many of the steps expected to be completed within the calendar year.
It is well within our realm of possibility to execute and have those things done in a timely fashion.
Feast-Price says the times call for people to be intentional. She says these changes are designed with the current students and their children in mind.
Administrators say the plans laid out in today's meeting are only phase 1. They expect phase 2 to be in the works sooner rather than later. We'll be right back.